Failed to load module. Oh boy. Good. We good up here? I think so. Let's get into it. Come on, man. I'm going to say I'm live now. GA. GE. Lovely. GE. That's great. Good to see y'all. GA. Wow. Here's a little something for you.
GE.
Right? How about them apples? What else do I have for you today?
GM.
Pretty good. Remember back, oh man, what was it? Isaac Phil Army 69 is here, thank goodness. What was my back in the day, I didn't really know what Twitch was, and I had this sound effect just for Twitch. Like this basically collection of sounds was all that I understood Twitch to be. Like, what an old ass to think that. Really, I mean, that is some old ass shit. But that's what I am. I'm old. I put that. Did I tell you I put that retinol? Have you ever put that retinol on your skin? I put this retinol on my skin. I turn into Tony the fucking tiger with flakes falling off of my face for 2 weeks. And I'm still old. So, you know.
Bag.
Do you know what have you heard about this stuff? Retinol, they call it. My wife will pop up. She'll be like, yeah, just have some retinol. And I'll be like, okay, your face is falling off. Man, oh man. I don't know, but if any of them have retinol, I'll pass. I'm just going to be old. And I've been old, really, if you think about it. If you really want to put it into perspective. You know what I mean? You know what's making me old lately is OTC trading's making me feel old on some of them. It's very slow. There's been some beauties. I mean, that Spoozy and this IGPK, you know. Before I get started, I'd like to tell you, GA, Melanie, thank you so much, GA.
GE.
Well, okay. Okay.
GM.
Come on. I'd like to tell you a little bit about a website that everyone is joining. No, there are a lot of people here, and it's really a great resource. And so, if you feel like you'd like more of this isn't my fault. This is Chrome's fault. Watch this. I don't know why, but if you're looking for more of this, but shorter, with coverage of everything that happens in the OTC every day, and you'd like to maybe, instead of just buy something off Twitter, you don't know when you got it, when you didn't get it, and actually truly learn the game, truly understand the game, and be able to get ahead of the game in terms of setups and what's going to get pumped and what's going to I'm your guy. And I'm saying, for the cost of dinner, $64 for 1 month, quit anytime, and thousands of hours of video searchable by text. And also, we have our new affiliate program, and it's super easy to sign up. 30% So I'm confident you'll love it. You got your journal where you can put in, oh, I have a journal entry right here. Fill is a bag.
Check out this DD.
Check out this DD. Check out this DD. Articles. I haven't written one for a while, but those are good ones. I'm sorry, Phil Army 69, but I'm going to hit you with it.
Bag.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Huh?
No. I don't know where that came from. I saw it on a bunch of these like trash videos my kids watch on YouTube. That sound, and I was just like, I love that. Like, I need to have that on my board.
Huh?
You know what I mean? What about this though?
Moving.
See that moving sound, that's R. And R is out now, the R word. It's now artistic. What was that on? Autistic. Good. Great chat. I'm really up on the news, you know. Well, let's get into what's going on in the OTC. I'll tell you a bit about what I'm working on. Obviously, congratulations on this SevCQ. If you've been a part of OTCmethod, you know it's been a bit of a labor of love. And then for a while there, I just had nothing to say. Like, it was just sitting there. And then finally, we started getting underway. But from 0.025, just after Christmas, to today, now hitting 16, and some maniac hit 75, which is crazy. But I'm still here. And the reason I'm still here is because of the DD, which is not, it's not really, it's just something they said. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just something they said. So I don't know if that's really DD, but that's really small. That's really small. But basically, the gist of it is that, they are looking at getting some financing that would bring them out of bankruptcy. And they got the solar, and I don't want this. And by the way, Twitter, can you work? Does anyone use this anymore? Oh. Okay. SEC, do you see this man? This man right here. Where is he? Where is this guy? Right in this zone. You see what he said? Look into him. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Anyways, look at this guy. SEC's got a lot to look at lately. Anyways, I've got the article, but now I can't find the article. I had it pulled up and now I can't find it. But the article is that they're looking at receiving funding to get out of their bankruptcy by the end of the month. And the caveat to this, and I said this, I think, on the last time I talked about this, even here, is that, you know, they may not get their financing. And when they get their financing, they may not like what happens. Right? Like the private equity or whoever takes it over may be like, okay, you're all fired and we're taking over and we're spinning out this solar shit business and doing what we want to do with it. But between now and the end of the month, there's a lot of energy there about coming out of bankruptcy. And by golly, I'm all for it. FA to you. That's what I'm talking about. Too late. No takebacks on Twitch. So it's very interesting. The setup's excellent. And if like you don't get a ton of information, how would you get this information now? People are saying, well, what's the share structure? Excuse me. Well, you'd probably use the 20F, which is like the foreign equivalent of a Q or a K. And then you could just do Control F, outstanding. Would I get it? Yeah. So 90 million outstanding. And that doesn't speak to blockchain. That doesn't speak to what's floating versus you can't just write at it. That doesn't speak to what's floating either. So that's that. So far, so good for me. Strategy wise, I just would like it to stay above 10. It's been great. And I mean, this is kind of how Core's Q got wild. You know what I mean? This is kind of how this started up. And boy, did they get after it. I mean, they really got buck wild. You know what I mean? They really did. So anyways, that's that. Very good trade for me. I have been trying to work on unique things. But you know, there's you know, the volume is very tough, as you know. OTC volume, it's a bit different in terms of where the volume's actually situated. I'm hearing their high volume days, but when it comes to the pennies that average folk like to move a lot, the volume really doesn't hit them that much. You could see here with the most active dollar volume stocks, out of that 1.6 billion, we're playing in a pool of maybe 10 to 20 million. No shit. So you've got to be so precise and focused on liquidity, but also bold. You know, I mean, if you got any questions about anything, hit me up. But I've really been trying, because like SevCQ, that was very bold. Like to buy that right off the gray market on a filing that I was worried that no one would buy. I was like really in terror. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to be bold with things. The BLPH is something that I'm trying to be bold with. And so far, not a lot of action. Like, it's okay. It's making moves. But this one's a bit different because the vote that's coming down for them, and I mean, by the way, what a setup. Good God. Good Lord. But they're pink current, which is nice, so it's not as much of a risk. Outstanding of 12 million in August. How much would their outstanding be rough? Like, could we see what it would be today? 12 mil in November, and it doesn't seem that they've added much, which is very good. But the difference here is that, according to this 8K, they've been begging for the votes necessary to dissolve the business, and for quite some time now. And they can't seem to get them. And they had a meeting on the 10th, 2 days ago, saying we didn't get anything done at this new meeting, and now we're going to try for another meeting. So I guess they'll try and whip votes into the 22nd. And you know, it's just very interesting because if they dissolve the business, obviously there's not much to do. But if they don't get the votes. And it's just so strange they don't have the votes. Like usually when they want to vote something through, someone with a ton of preferred shares will be like, yeah, rubber stamp it. But they don't have that power here. And you wonder if that type of vulnerability on the part of the company, you know, might lead shareholders who do have votes to kind of run this thing up. Because, I mean, there is some sick room on this. Like, good God. I mean, and you can use those anchor VWAPs to see where their averages are at, and then we'll talk about popular things too. I'm all for it, but I'm just wanted to show you some of the tips and ticks of the trade. You know what I mean? So their average would be 16 from the dump in October, and I mean, and how much did it come down on? Only 14 million. Crazy. So, you know, it's a bit of an offbeat one. It's a bit of a curveball for sure, but that's kind of what I'm all about because. You know, I find that there's a lot of upside on these types of things. And then I tried a couple of other Q things, McCool Q, which will go gray on Thursday. Not a lot of action on that. And I just find myself at a place where I'm just not seeing a lot of follow through on things. Obviously SDCCQ, which I forgot the name of it the other day and called it Smile Deck. Too late. They already logged you, baby. They already logged you. They're already on the way over. What was that? Yeah, they're on the way over to your house. We got him. We got him. Thank you. Well, because that BLPH is like kind of what they're doing now with some of these delisters. There's a lot of delisters on the move, crazily on the move. And NRHI was a very good trade for us this week. I grabbed it at 2 on Thursday, two buccarinis, and now at 424, which is very nice, half out, and then close the rest of it as well. And should I have done that? I don't know. But I felt that I needed to make a really good trade. There's no resistance here. There was no one in it before they split it. And now they split it and there's really no resistance. So I may have made a mistake there, but I was kind of keen to lock in some profit. Because outside of the name brands, outside of the Spoozy, and then this IGPK, which I didn't like it at first, but I watched a video from the Super Robot OTC, and I felt like it was more compelling than I first thought. But outside of that, man, you're looking at some skinny dollar volume, and you have to be so precise. And so my answer to that is, like, if I want to do anything outside of kind of the plays that are being talked about right now, which are not really face ripping price action, which is good. People prefer that, by the way, because not everyone's actively trading at the computer. I get it. Then you've got to create. And I don't know if you've heard about Houthis. You heard about these guys? Yeah, I got a Stanley Cup. Whatever. Where the ladies at? Who run the world? You know what I mean? No, it's been good. I don't know if you've heard about Houthis. These Houthis, man. They're blocking off all these shipping ports and shipping lanes in the Red Sea. And they are running up shipping stocks big time. And in the OTC, there are not a lot of shipping stocks to really consider. Except an offbeat one. And I'll just say it, and I'm not saying it's going to be good. LG. And if you think it's up a lot, it's not. And I'll show you why. LG sitting there on 26 million floating. Totally into shipping management, shipping staffing in Greece. And interestingly, this is so funny. So like it says access forbidden, but it's not. And I don't know what link they put on the OTC Markets profile page. Crew management, totally a shipping company. Nobody owns it. And when I say nobody owns it, I mean it. Like the highest volume day on this historically, 2 million shares. And so I thought today I saw them picking at it. And if you're feeling like, oh, it's up 2,000%, you could see it's not. I mean, someone accidentally hit a couple of trips or dubs or whatever with less than 30. You can see it on the top left here, less than 30,000 shares. And then the average price that it's traded since it hit down there, you can probably just put an anchor on it and see. Yeah. 02. So no one's really in it. And I just thought, like, if this, and then now they're shooting missiles at Houthis. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, if shipping stocks continue to rip and they're looking for an OTC that's into shipping, I got to find out, because if they were to crack that resistance, which I would say is more like 3 right now, you could see it. If they were to crack that 03 on it, you could get into some major, I mean, we'd be getting Houthi with it. You know what I mean? Getting Houthi with it. Big Houthi energy. What were the other ones I said going full Houthi. So excellent idea. A pretty decent company. They wanted to split a while back, never did it. But on this setup, man, I got to find out. So we'll see with shipper stocks running. But this percentage on it's hilarious because no one's made that at all. So, yeah. I mean, what's their average since the dawn of time on it? Basically there. 39. 39. Since November of 2021, the average price purchased on LFG is 39. So for me to try around 2 today, I figured, you know what I mean? Let's see what happens. Let's hit the high seas with the Houthis and see what happens. You know what I mean? Let's hit the high seas. That's that. IGPK, I ended up quite liking the DD. They did a lot of work on it in terms of having to use a Chinese search engine and stuff like that. And when I looked at it last night, I didn't enjoy it because I felt as if like the name of the company's been out for a long time. It's been out since the end of December and no one cared about it. And then there was some buying, only about 20 million the other day. And then all of a sudden people care about it. But it took people time to discover what it was. And finally they discovered what it was. And it looked to be a pretty decent company. And so today, like the problem is like yesterday, because if you've been around, you know, IGPK has sucked since the dawn. It's has been one of the worst. And so I was like, yeah, run an IGPK again. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Come on, guys. And then had a chance to look at that video this morning after not liking it last night. I felt it was pretty compelling. And so in order to chase it, though, you've got to make a plan. You know what I mean? And so for me this morning, I took it and I just said to stay above like 35. That's kind of what I decided that you could see around here. Like that's where it did a quick dip rip. And so I thought, if I could just ask it to stay above 35 is what I would do. And so far, so good. Best practice now would be since the beginning of the move, which I would say is really yesterday, drop an anchor there, which would put you at about the same 32. And so as long as it can kind of keep riding up that anchor, it'd be fine. People are wondering what the risks are with regard to it. Obviously, it's a bit of a mystery box when you're dealing with a Chinese merger. Sometimes Chinese companies, most times Chinese companies merge into OTC shells, never to speak again. And sometimes that's a good thing. Because have you noticed, like with some of these mergers, like you're like, can't wait to hear from the company. And then they open their mouth and you're like, can you shut the fuck up, please? You know what I mean? That's how you feel. That's what you want them to do. And so like, if we didn't hear from them, like what they have in terms of, and it's not 100% confirmed to be the company they picked, but it's gotta be damn close. So what they have seems to be pretty compelling. And if they didn't speak and people were compelled by that DD for the time being, it would be quite excellent. You know what I mean? We don't know what their plans are. Sometimes when a company merges in, they want to do a reverse split, but we don't know what their plans are with regard to that. And if you live your life, worried about what could happen, you'll never be there for what is happening. You know what I mean? And so, could they split it one day? Sure. But could they split anything ever one day? Yes. So it looks quite interesting. And at this point, that anchor is close to the stop. So, stay above 32 and I'm there. And, is there some selling there? There's selling on everything. You got to get over it. You got to get over it at this point because it's just what the deal is now. You know what I mean? So that was quite good. And then the Spoozy, I've never participated in it. And it's not because I don't like movement. I didn't love what happened with the NHMD thing. And I find it a little bit hard to believe, but I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this, that the OTC markets is not really doing much with caveat emptors these days at all. It's almost like they listen to the people who are like, can you just stop? And then they did. Because that was a bit of my concern here on the spoos, you know, is I was like, yo, what's the scoop? Like, do they really believe this, or you know what I mean? And maybe they don't care anymore. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. And so, you know, we're out here. It's I wouldn't mind any guidance, like some guidance on it. Like if they were just to say, hey, we're done with splits or whatever, that would be okay. But they don't seem to do that, or done with a caveat emptor. They just don't seem to do that. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a very weird time in the OTC because you got a couple things moving for sure, but then the things that aren't moving like really aren't. You know what I mean? And I found it to be, especially if you're trying to kind of originate and find the next thing, like there are some really, really, really lonely stretches, lonelier than I can ever recall being. And then this Twitter is a bit of a mess. I feel it to be a mess. And that's the other thing. Like, I'm not doing alerts. You know, because if I was doing alerts, I'd be doing like, I would get like a, you know, because OTCmethod has generated a ton of email addresses of people who, you know what I mean? I don't know who they are, but like if I actually wanted to alert something, I would use the email or whatever. Like, because on Twitter, no one can see what anyone's doing anymore. I'm just kind of like, here's an interesting idea. You know, I may or may not stick with it, but here are the reasons why I like it, and you should try it out or not. But here's what I'm doing, and check it out, you know, because I'm always trying to provide a different perspective outside of the norm. You know what I mean? And that's hard to find because, you know, it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't serve you very well to be, if you want engagement or if you'd like a company to hire you to do tweets or whatever, like to always be offbeat is not really a great way to get engagement. But that's what I'm all about, baby. You know, I don't get. And then what do I have to say to get engagement now? Like rude shit? Like, what do you have to say now to get engagement? Hey. You know, like what is it? I don't even want to say some of the things, like even as a joke, I don't want to say some of the shit I see on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too rude. Are y'all really that mad? Like, I'm mad at like wind and temperatures. God, I just, you know, and fabrics. Anyways, you know this? Nobody knows. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, because I did a great trade on that Civ BQ. And it used to do this when I was in it early on, too. It was just tapping down to dub one each day. I had a great trade on that this week. So if you're Canadian, like and retweet for more gray shitbags. I used to do the Canadian accent that I thought was funny, and then I heard it and it was like the same, which really stressed me out. It wasn't even like, I know, that was wild this morning. It opened up. Dub one. It was like 28 shares or something. It was so ridiculous, but I'd seen it do that before, so I didn't get too panicked by it. But I did. Should I have closed this out? I don't know, but I will take a 30 cross on it. I'll tell you that. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. And if you're saying, boy, I want to move to Canada for that, you don't. You don't. Okay? It's not that good. So IGPK, very interesting. And it's not often I get interested about a lot of things. And then when I do get interested in something, I'm like, oh, it's too technical. And that's the tough part. I was saying to someone the other day, and I've said it before, but I'll say it again.
Let's talk turkey.
And then we'll get through some advancers. And then we'll run the screener. People are enjoying the screener. Anything on your mind, hit me. Because I'm here. You know what I mean? But I was saying, like, the COVID traders, buying every trip, running them into infinity or whatever, like, that was wild. And, if you were here pre-COVID, which I was for quite some time, you'd be like, well, that's impossible that would move. Okay. And then you'd be like, oh, okay, good little move there, but that'll be at no bid again tomorrow. And then they just keep going and going and going and going. And then and then I was like, okay, you got me. But then on the back end, I was like, okay, now it's really going back to zero. And then it was like, well, you don't know anything. I knew that. But I wish that I didn't know anything sometimes. Even now, I wish I don't know anything sometimes. Most of the time, I do wish I knew things. But when it came to that COVID trade, I wish that I was just born at the start of COVID as a trader. But then maybe I would have never sold. So here's how I run the advancers list, if you don't know. I do this before my videos now on OTCmethod.com. I just run through it before and then pick the things that are out of the ordinary so people don't have to watch me do it. But since we're here and I'm hoping to answer some questions while I do it, or about other things. Like, you heard about this news? Probably would be in GVSI. And I probably would have never left. And by the way, don't even get me started on this GVSI. Like, what a bad audience. Like, I was genuinely trying to be helpful when I said it's probably going to go gray, and then it was like, I'm going to kill you. Like, that was the response in DMs. And I'm like, listen, come on over the border, and you'll get over the border and you'll be like, I don't even like this place, and you'll just leave anyways. There were a few interactions that kind of had me looking over my shoulder a little bit. I got to be honest with you. There it is. Houthis, $9,000 in today. Wish me luck. I'm trying to get creative, but that's one of the things that I'll say about OTC trading. Like, because people will be like, hey, they're doing a lot with microchips right now. Here's a couple of OTC microchip tickers. Do you think they'll run? And I'll be like, I don't think generally, unless it's a great setup, which that LG is, generally people think that hard in the OTC. It's really about what the flavor of the month is. Like, look at that Spoozy. That's chicken feet. Chicken feet exports. not feed, feet. So if you think that OTC penny people are really worried about what's happening globally, they're not. And at first I there was a period of time where I was like, you know what? I want to be global with it. I want to trade what they're talking about in the news. And then I did it for a while and realized that like all this news is bullshit and bought and paid for by big money pigs. And they're manipulating everything, like all those trades. Like as soon as they say like you better watch out for da stocks, it's done. And so you know what? Chicken feed it is, or pickle jar. Where are my pickle heads at?
Bag.
I had a failed trade on this SAML this week, and like I bought it right when that news came out of ILIS coming in. And was pretty excited about it, honestly, because I remember what they did with QIND at the start, anyways. Not the back half. Not the back half. I'll tell you that.
Bag.
And I thought, oh well, they'll definitely get after it, And so I just picked it up, kind of in this zone. I thought it was fair play. And I mean, they just shit on me. It was the worst. And, as it went through the weekly volume weighted average price, I had to unload it because there was no one in this prior. So that was all the company dumping. You could see it. Retail doesn't trade that way. I'm sorry. And then, and then that night, it became like a big alert for like a big influencer, It was a very nice guy, but it became like a big influencer alert. And then I was like, oh, well, shit on me, because I didn't, I had to protect my capital. And then so I wanted to be supportive of it, so I was just like retweeted it, like, good luck, because I don't want to be a dick. And then they dumped on it again. And then today they had news and then they dumped on it again. And so I don't know what's next. Like they got to break 4 and then like really stay above 4 is what they got to do. That's pretty much it. You could see it keep getting rejected here. But man, I was pissed off when it was like, this is my new alert. I was like, oh, come on. Help. And then they dumped on it again, but through 4, I suppose. Maybe one of these days, the SAM will get underway. Lord knows those ILIS guys that run this thing keep knocking on the door. You know what I mean? Sometimes they push you down the stairs to the basement and lock the door. You know what I'm saying?
Heat zone.
Yeah, you ever seen this? So I found out what this is. This movement I'm doing, it's the deviated septum. It's bothering me. So exciting. I've got a really exciting life. Let's pick up some tickers. GAHC, we'll take a peek at it. That looks like a crazy setup. I don't know what to say about that. We'll take a look at that. BOTY. I'm just gonna
bag.
Sorry. Bag. What I'm looking for when I run through this list is kind of bare minimum like 20 grand on the dollar volume column. Like, because at least I know people are putting some skin in the game. You know what I'm saying? And then at least I know people care about it enough to take some. This is so weird though. I'll show you this. To take some and then like actually put some real money in the game. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. I don't really enjoy trading F stocks, and the reason I don't enjoy trading them is they just don't move very well. You know, people say, well, this one moved really well. And I'll say, how many of them do I have to buy to get that move? That's the problem, you know, and that's the rub with a lot of these things where people say, well, wish I took that. Well, try 20 more of them in a row and see if you get it again. iPix is sure a dreadful stock. Remember they put Brillasadin, and then the Brillasadin didn't work for COVID, so they just started rubbing it on people's ass and stuff. Remember this? Brillasadin. Brillacidin. Heard it? Keep pushing. Yeah, it's a good we'll throw it in. Well, let's look at it right now. So the guy says it's going to do well in 2024. Oh, Fulo, geez Louise. And they want to hear from them in 2024, but really, I mean, all you can do is like he's still dumping on it. You can see it. So I mean, really, and that's why I have this line down here. It's just, you can either stay above 6 or not be in it. Like that's all you can do. Because obviously his communications are not doing anything. Obviously, whatever he says or the prospect of what he's going to say doesn't excite people enough to keep buying it. So whatever he's got in store for 2024, I mean, even he must not be that excited about it. Or his note holder must not be that excited about it. Because why would you be selling down here if you were excited about it? You know, I mean, if yeah, I mean, just above 6, I guess. Yeah, he's speaking to the chart and he's saying, nah, might be okay here. SAPX is a pass for me for sure. Frick Hill, Frick Jill, Frick Mill. These are all gray dead bank mega mooners that nobody can buy, so I won't really talk about them. They're all First Republic Bank. PTCO, I mean, I twisted in the wind. Do I have that one? Boy, that's a, yeah.
Hey, King Cow.
Oh. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I twisted in the wind on this for, what, a few weeks? Finally took a parachute out. Sayonara. I don't know, man. Something doesn't add up there. Because I was the original ACGX buyer at the end of 2022, if you recall. Like, this was me. And it became a really good trade. And then every time it hit 45, it got absolutely shat upon. And now there's no volume. But strangely, there's still a lot, like no one owns this probably at this point, but strangely, there's a lot of selling still. Like, where is this coming from, I wonder? It's not retail for sure. Nothing they're saying is that exciting. So what do you do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, could it move again? Sure. But the setup is what would you say? Like, it's deceivingly, it deceives you because you think it's good, but then it moves like ass. Like, you're telling me this is still, like, I guess you could still say it's 2 million. I mean, you're telling me that only 1 million shares has made it perform this. I know, but it's always been that, man. And it was that back when we bought it a year ago, and it only seems to go down and never moves. And so, like, if you're asking me to sit here and hold this, I'm asking you why. But if I were to say, okay, they care enough, it might be an oscillator cross on the daily. That's either a MACD or the KST that I use with the custom links that I kind of made to the OTC. It might be a daily cross. I know, but I'm just giving you my thoughts. Like I'm just saying, like because when I'm looking at it, I'm just like, what do I do? You know, like maybe it's a daily cross, but man, oh man. I mean, you're talking. I mean, my thought is that it's really boring. You know, and so it would have to be a daily cross. That's all I could really do, and then even then, I might be bored to death. Like I really can't. Like if you look at this chart, they sure did, didn't they? I can't read that name though. I can't read it, hon. I can't read it. They sure did eat it, didn't they? Such a good setup, so much to look forward to. One great move, and I mean we were there for it, but then they just never stopped selling. To this day, never stopped selling. And then they undid the seltzer thing, they undid everything. Now they have nothing. Like, what are you thinking, guys? Now they have nothing. But now that they have nothing, what a great time to announce a reverse merger in trips. Am I right? I'd keep an eye on it. Because with the amount they're selling, there's going to be no one bidding soon. So, you know, I don't really know. It's just kind of when the next Q or K is due, House Street. But it doesn't really matter. You know, because it either stays above the line, the support that it put in, or it doesn't. And, you know, no, it doesn't matter if it goes below the line, really. And then if it goes below the line and it resets the oscillator on the 30 and you wanted to pick up that cross and see if it does matter again, which it probably doesn't, but if it did matter again, then you could try it and see if it continues to move. But really, I would say that, like, if the answer to that question has never been a factor in my making good trades on the OTC ever. Therefore, it's neither here nor there. Like I've never, ever. The only thing I would say is that once the financials hit, 99% of the time they're not they are disappointed by them. And then it never moves again. So there's a little something for you. Let's keep moving. Frickle. You heard about these? Frick Hill. This is a hell of a Q stock to maybe keep an eye on. The other one to keep an eye on, Alps Q. Like this is, I don't know, like if they moon random Qs or not, but holy shit. And then also Alps Q. Holy shit. BMXC, we had a huge trade, just massive. I filled 13 the other day. When was that? This past Monday. God bless, time flies, doesn't it? 13. And they took it up to 6. And interestingly enough, And I had it right. I didn't even know I filled it. I just slammed it into the OTCmethod live chat like, yo, this setup is crazy. But look at this. I don't really think she's sold much. Do you? There's no volume, none now. But there's also no volume of her selling. Jene Aiko. Is that who the CEO is? No, it isn't. Who is Jene Aiko? Like, I've seen that name, but I don't know who that is. It's a celebrity of some sort. Crazy. $269 now. This is where I'm saying this SSOF, man, it's been a real struggle to get off the ground. And if you know me, you know I've been really trying with these guys, really trying and not succeeding. And that nine is really the tough zone. And then your next tough zone is 12. And then after that, there's really not a lot of resistance there until way later. But that trip 9 is the one that you've really got to keep an eye on. And if it can maintain that trip 9 bid support, maybe you can get another leg. They put out this news today where they said they aren't going to do a split, which is nice. Where is it now? Well, I'll just use this. What is this anyways? Oh, right. Yeah, I'm good on that. Where they said they're not going to do a split, which is, it's neither here nor there because they could just dump forever too, but they don't seem to be. They're selling, but not a ton. And if it could stay above this 9, maybe you got 8, 9, maybe you got a good trips runner. But it's very tough with these because your margins, like, it goes down to 9, goes down to 7. So basically you've just got to draw a line, say stay above it, and that seems to be about 8. So maybe they could get this underway. Pop the top at 11, though. You got to look out for something because they're knocking on the door every day with news now. Every single day they're like, hey, so you got to keep an eye on it, I think. Is it the most exciting news? I don't know, but like, who am I to say what's exciting? They're excited about chicken feet right now. So who am I to say what's exciting? I'm not the sayer of excitement. I'm the sayer of many things. I'll tell you that. Just not to that many people. I'll look at it. Right as a bag. Just let it go, guys. Okay. Enough. Please. For me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a circle. Hempaco blew me away, though. Like, because I've been addicted to cigarettes. And what I wouldn't do for a cigarette, help me. I miss that shit. I remember when my wife, she was my girlfriend at the time, but when she'd go out of town for a couple days, like some guys might go crazy and I don't know, go drinking or whatever. And all I wanted to do was just smoke cigs in the house. My God, I was like, bye, and then I would just instantly smoke cigs in the house. It was the greatest thing. What I wouldn't do to smoke some cigs in the house right now, my goodness. And so anyways, they said, oh, we're just filling cigarettes with hemp. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. Some guys maybe, doing freaky things. I don't know what they're doing, but for me, it was just cigs in the house. That's it. That's what I wanted to do. And good luck. And you can't smoke in the car now. You'll never sell it. So, and then it's minus 5,000 where I live today. So, you know what? It's over for me. This ABQQ, they're back at it. It's just really dull. It's just dull price action. And, they're not saying things that are compelling people enough. You could keep oscillating back and forth, but, we're a month into this now at essentially the same price. I just don't know what to do with it. And I don't know how to, because to me, I can say, well, hold it and see if it'll work out. But like for me, I'm like, why? Because I could get a BMXC tomorrow or Tuesday, and so I'm just like, and that's why I use the 30 MDMA and escorts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, and that's how plain of a person I am, really. SIGs in the house. And chocolate bars. You know what I mean?
Heat zone.
You know what I mean, man? This Winners is a good setup, but the guy doesn't say anything. What was that on? Oh. Okay. Good to hear. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy that. Hope all is well with you. All right, well, thanks for checking in. Good. Anyways, what was I saying now? Thanks for coming in. Anyways, there he is. Boy, they were really on me like a fog when I said those were bullshit, weren't they? Good gracious. They were on my ass, man. From every angle. In it, around it, up it. How dare you say Coke Hunter, restaurant guys, merger on Civics is fake. We saw, listen, on VNTH, we saw a guy, just a random, like, retail trader guy, cook up a tweet from Adam and accidentally send it from his own account and then realize he fucked up and then just deleted it totally. Like what a scam. Does anyone look into this shit? Oh, boom. You got him, Frank. You got him. Is there any justice? Everyone's talking about social justice, all that. What about bag justice?
Bag.
You ever heard about that? Don't worry about social justice, okay? Worry about bag justice. That's justice. I'll say what justice is moving forward, because I'll tell you what it isn't.
Bag.
Okay? I'm not seeing bag justice. And then I'll be like, see, that was a bad, do you see what happened? It was a good move, though. Yeah, but you were saying to buy as much of it as you can not that long ago, and now you just say, but it was a good move. Like, why don't you say what you did? Why don't you know what I'm saying? Say what you did. Say what you did. You ever thought about that?
I really appreciate their transparency.
Yeah, I bet you do. Take a look at these advancers, do some decliners, we'll jump into the screener. Any tickers on your mind, hit me. This GRHI sure been a tough grind. I mean, it's fine from entry, and then I got shook out, and then it went to 8, and now it has barely any volume, but also, and then for whatever reason, there's like a really aggressive seller in there but they don't care. Like they'll buy it all. And now there's a 30 crossing on GRHI. I know it's only $5,900, but they moved this SOB and it is a reverse merger. And I think you got to keep an eye on it. But it's tough right now. 61 grand. How the mighty have fallen, huh, Samuel? Well, I mean, but that whole eyeless world, bag. D-Loc already ran. It was a good run. It's back to zero. You could buy it for a bounce. Mazen, the guy's got to speak up about what they're doing. And then GCan, it's just really boring. And I mean, they were getting into like Bob Ross merchandise or something like that. There's no volume, no nothing. It's moving along this line, but at what pace? I mean, there's a daily cross there. Last couple daily cross has been money. Maybe you use that. But there's just no action there. You know what I mean? A-Bit, actually buying a full ass Bitcoin. I know, I'm sorry, man. And you know, people were really mad at me for not liking it. And it wasn't that I hated it. It's just, I just didn't see how you're going to move it ever again in our current liquidity reality. I'm sorry. Like, I don't, you know, it's not fun. It's just in our current liquidity reality, I don't know how you can hold them up because eventually some people are got to go, I got to pay some bills. I got to do some shit. Hey, man, I don't even listen to myself as much as I should. Like in the clarity of these moments making the video, it all makes sense. And then when you're actually like in the game, when you're actually in the game and you got the ball in your hands, you know, you can watch tape all day long, but shit, you know, I'm sorry. How bad was it? There was this guy, he had like I don't know what he was. And then he was chasing me around after I said I didn't like it. Good God. Holy shit. What? Did they announce a split or something? Oh. Well, I guess that's the end of that. I mean, there may be an okay bounce there if you wanted to pick it up, but I mean, you know, outside of that. So let's go through these advancers. Bitech. This had this announcement. So they're doing a business combination for power projects, and there's a lot of money at stake. It's like $50 million in financing or something. There it is. $50 million in financing on closing the transaction. I don't know how they're going to get that. Maybe they'll get it through, oh boy. Man, oh man. This freaking Asta. This guy was chasing me around for days. He had like a unicorn avatar or something. And everywhere I went, it was like, I see you like this, but you are unable to like Asta? Interesting. Keep pumping. And I was like, dude. I didn't say it was garbage. I just said leave me alone. Every single thing I did, it was just on my ass. What is this? Why is this here? So they've got this big business combination. It's just not a very good setup, and power generation thing is kind of dull, and I just wasn't that excited about it. It's really just, yeah. I don't know. It's kind of moving, but like, what's the pace? I guess if it broke 9, I mean, it could become very liquid because they are raising a bunch of capital, but you know, I mean, you may just be sitting on your ass here. So Bitech broke 9. SSOF, we talked about it. ATX, AX, AT, ATA. Oh. Yeah, we're in the OTC life, sir. I didn't even bash it. I was just like, I'm not really interested. And, you know, he was really mad. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be a dick. I think people think I'm a dick, but I'm not. You gotta believe, man. This is a crazy ass setup. I don't know if they bounce this or what. It's all dumping now. But looks like shit for now. I just can't believe this setup. It just boggles the mind. Oh, that was you. Oh my gosh. Who joined me? I can't see that. Someone joined. Anyways, I got to work on this Twitch stuff. I am sorry. I'm sorry that happened to you. I've been there, man. I've been there. I've been there. God, I got stories. Alps Q, this is just crazy. I don't know what to say. Are they degenerates or not? Ugh. Well, I'm glad you're here today shooting the breeze. And I hope it takes the edge off. And I just hate to hear it. Look at this, man. What is going on here? Holy crap, bro. It's not even down on anything. Are these degens awake or what? Where my degens at? Good God. The selling's nonstop, but I am so sorry. GHC, I guess it got alerted today by someone, but it's just not very exciting. They don't do crypto anymore. They're into election security. They said they had a merger of some sort, so we'll take a look at that company, see if we can figure out what the hell it is. A numbered company. So what's so interesting about this is they're saying that the company bought GES. But GES is a subsidiary of GAHC. So did they just scoop the subsidiary out? Or it's non-binding. Happened in November. It remains to be seen if it is GES now or GES is just a subsidiary, but that's new per the filing yesterday. Tough setup, but not. Ooh. We'd really have to hear about what the scoop to that is. I mean, do they have a merger there? Yes. Can we tell what it is? And did they buy the subsidiary? I don't know. Is it a bad setup? No. It just makes me sick, man. These OTCs, bro, like through 5, build some support on 5. I mean, the setup is there. They just split. Was it a big split? It was not a great split. No, I don't. I never did. And if you recall, I called it Money Pit a year ago, and people didn't really like that. And the whole energy there with Moni is very trashy to me. Yeah, it's just something really wrong there. Like the way they interact is really tasteless. And then they had that thing with the Sky Bioscience or something like that. And then the guys at the Sky or whatever that thing was, they said that Moni just never even returned their calls. And then, so they just used that potential business combination to pump. And then every time anything happens, it's always preloaded on Moni. So, you know, like even if something were to happen, I'm not necessarily sure I'm keen to support it. You know? Break 5 and hold 5. Maybe there's something to the merger GAHC, but they are really aggressive sellers. Really aggressive sellers. Like every time Moni has dues, like the people, and then guys are like instantly, like, you know, they knew. What the hell is this? The frick? Delister. See that Form 4. This guy unloaded it. This director, he was unloading it. He's like, I'm out of here. 485, eh? My goodness. What is the float on that? 10? Holy crap. I mean, if you want to play a freaky deaky game, are you serious with this? Oh. Oh. Wowee, huh? Huh. So that was what the SPAC looked like. And there's a Canadian dual listing, which is not great. Interesting, though. Who knows? Something to keep an eye on. That'd be some wild shit. BOTY is no good. So someone bought a bunch of 3s today. Good luck. Thank you. What are you up to? CMXC, so they're doing this change of control, and then they gave away like 250 million shares at Dub 7 to close the deal. Obviously, none of them are selling yet. And like the price action's weird, but there's like no volume behind it. See what I'm saying? Like that's paint and then all wax. So I don't know how to handle it. I don't know how to handle it. So IGPK pretty compelling. Like I had to say, I was so tired of hearing IGPK over the years. Like it didn't even move during COVID. But maybe they actually have something there. Maybe they got lightning in a bottle there now. I guess uranium's hot right now. So this F stock, but they told me uranium was hot a bunch of times and this shit never really moved. So I do wonder longer term, because at the end, here's something interesting for you. So, okay, in nuclear power plants today, I think it's about the same number. Overall, it's about the same as it was in the 80s, believe it or not. And, if these guys are serious about carbon and climate and stuff like that, if they're actually serious, they're going to have to get into nuclear power. That's it. Unless they invent some Wakanda shit. So, like if they want people driving EVs that aren't powered by coal, which they are right now, they're going to have to do it. So you wonder if like long term, uranium could be a bigger thing, but I find I don't have that type of time nor that type of capital. And I think most people don't. So that's kind of the movers, not a lot. Let's get into decliners, I will say though, like outside of like the popular movers, the IGPK and stuff like that, I am finding it tough to regularly make money on the OTC right now. Like, and I'm hearing a lot of this is the time, this is the new bull run. Like I don't feel like I'm quite seeing it. Continuation is very, very difficult to get. Actual like big movement, save for the odd one. Spoozy was good, YCRM was good, but actual like big movement is hard to come by. I'm still finding it very tough, to be honest with you. I'm hopeful it will get better. But I would say that, I have the good plans that I'm always having to scrap because there's just no volume out there. Like I'm finding it still very tough. I don't know about you, and then I'm also finding like the community or whatever, like the social media experience of trading now is extremely broken. And I used to, even though people thought maybe I was prickly or cold or whatever, like I would privately get a lot of enjoyment out of the community and the personalities, and you know what I mean? And I feel like I don't see it as much anymore. Yes, there's absolutely more than there was. And I'm feeling better than I was then, but it's still very tough. But yeah, I mean this NNAX, just stop selling, guys. Shut it, please. You could still move if you want. Don't go this way. Don't go to the dark side. But that energy, and I look back at all these accounts of people I knew over the years, and they're just gone, It's just different now. And I don't care where you sit on the political spectrum, because I'm kind of like a center guy. But this Elon ruined Twitter. I'm sorry, but he did. Like, those libs were onto something. Like, maybe they were a little bit too much of libs. But they had a formula. Like, they could have maybe just had a talking to. But now it's just a hellscape, man. That's why I started, yeah, I guess. And that's why I started doing these Twitch streams, because I don't feel like there's any way for anyone to get to know what I'm all about now on that platform. You know what I mean? And I still want to be out there, but I also, let's take a look. What's the plan here on Spoozy? Yeah, but I also don't feel like that, like, it's almost like the person's been removed. And I actually read that about Facebook, you know. They said like one of their goals is to get more into the algorithm and less into like people. You know what I mean? Like they don't even want the people on social media anymore. They just want you to get fed ads and you know what I mean? It's really weird. 30 cooked there on Spoozy. Could take a new 30 if you like. Last one was money. And absolutely, you could see it here. It's so nice and smooth when they're liquid. Yeah, it is taking a long time. Sweet Pussy Slayer. Hello, hon. Hello. It's taking a long time to digest that, and also, you know, I really feel like, you know, normal people, like they've not beaten inflation at all. And then every time they say inflation's lower, it's just because oil price went down. And I just feel like people don't feel like they have the capital, the excess capital to do what they want to do, like, or to do trading or to do much of really anything, you know. And I even feel that a lot myself. I mean, there was a brief flash of time where I was a wealthy person, and it was, you know, I mean, it didn't last very long because it all kind of ended. And even now, like when I'm looking at a trade I'm going to take, I'm like, how much size really do I even want here? Or how much size could I really even use at this point? Because if I F it up, you know, I don't know when it's coming back in, you know, and I think a lot of people are going through that. I really do. You know? So that was my mom. Shouts out. Get her on Twitch. I don't know. She wouldn't know how to do it. But yeah, you feel me, AM. Like, I don't feel like people, like I don't have any extras, and I don't think people have too much to look forward to. You know, more inflation, more shortages of everything, more, you know, it's just really, really, really stressful for people. They didn't do it on inflation. Mom wouldn't be able to, you know what it's like with, you know, not all boomers. I'm not saying all boomers, which I guess, I mean, like a young person on Twitch would probably look at me as a boomer at this point. But they'd just be like, it's not working. And you'll be like, well, did you press the button? The button's not there. Like, the button's right there. It's not there. So we'll just stick with text message. 30 on Spoozy. That's what you got to do. Last 30 was money. This one's liquid. Yeah. The problem with ZMRK is that, so yeah, the question was, can you go into why ZMRK? Well, there's the rub. ZMRK is it a good buy at this price? Zero dilution, good SS. Didn't run as much during COVID, so not too many COVID baggies. The reason it didn't run too much during COVID is because before COVID, it ran a lot. And they're all bagged out from that. And this was the Mei Hua Shu. So Mei Hua Shu was a guy who had the, what was it called? The Chinese Canada conglomerate or something. Chanadam Muret. And he was like the original Frank, like all of these big things were going to merge into all these ZMRK, SPOM, SBEZ, hired like hella promoters to pump it up. It was like a big deal. And they all made massive runs, got loaded with bags before COVID. Then COVID hit and they were all just trying to get the hell out of this. And so the issue you have is that like it's not really that good of a setup. Kinky S Dolls is who he used to follow. So, and then also the thing was that the Mei Hua Shu, let's see if we can find, is he still following the Kinky S Dolls or? There he is. So then he was like, oh, I got all these mergers set up and everything like that. And no, he's not following them anymore. Maybe you watched the video. And then then he had a bunch of mergers and they weren't any good. And then now it's just kind of sitting here. It's a good trip for sure. But like, I'm not sure what he could say at this point. Like, it was only a year ago that he announced this merger, another, Chinese mystery. Was that a year? Yeah, basically a year. No one bought it. And at this point, I mean, it would take an absolute miracle. It's a good setup, but I mean, we need to know that guy is gone, and that whatever they bring in is something totally different, because they've run a couple. Yes, well, that was who was that? Frank Bank Tank. What I wouldn't do for those guys back. Listen, I had some beef. It is too good to be true. Yeah. I had some beef with the Bank Tank back in the days, but you know what? What I wouldn't do for those guys back. Jada. Remember that? What did I call it? Jada Stinkit Shit. That's what I called it. Thank you so much.
Heat Zone.
Thank you very much. That was a real... they said Coinbase was going to merge in, you know. Imagine, like, think about that. It was the most insane thing. HMLA, this guy, maybe 1,000 filings a day. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like a machine's gone haywire. Like it's just like blah 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 blah. Like it's mind-boggling. This guy. And then if you give him any volume, he just crushes you. Good luck. Man, oh man. These guys pooched it so bad. I mean, they've got barely any volume now. I don't know what to say. YCRM and Neurogen. It's very hard work. Could it work out? Sure. But there was a serious trust factor. Raker, it's fine. Like I said, I mean, you're not really playing with great margins because of the price action. And I think the price action would have really been a lot more shocking once upon a time. But it's holding up, and I just kind of set this 4 as being like, hey, okay, just stay above 4. That's kind of where it depends. Like sometimes the private business is looking for a shell and they'll find a person who put the deal together. Other times the shell is, I get those emails from Dealstream all the time. There's tons of more OTC shells than I want to admit, begging for a merger to buy the shell from them and merge in. It just totally depends. You never know, right? Like it's just sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that. So stay above 4, Raker. It's fine. It's just it's good. And same with Stall. Like, I mean, that was a good move. And I just decided that, I'll just work 30s on it. The 30s have been very decent. It's not exceptionally rude with the selling. You just got to trade it on the 30. I have my 30 alert set there, and that's what I do. I think there's a lot of factors like maybe they know the guys, maybe because I'll tell you the truth, if a truly legitimate company with a big bright future is merging into a shell, they need to do a reverse split. Right, because you can't really raise capital off of something that where there's no shares to issue, and you can't really raise capital if you're asking people to buy into something that's loaded with 10 million bag holders. You can't do it. So, like, if you were actually a legitimate business that was looking to raise capital via reverse merger into a shell, you would actually have to reverse split. And then get all, like, just wipe the slate clean, wipe out every single person who's bagged on it, have a huge fat authorized shares, and then you can dole them out to people that are lending you money, so you can then dilute those shares can then be diluted. Like, that's what you'd actually have to do. So in the end, the deciding factor really wouldn't matter, because you would just do a reverse split on whatever you would merge into. And some of the best mergers we've ever seen from the biggest companies we've seen had that initial run and then immediately did a reverse split, or announced that reverse split right at the start, because that's what they have to do to raise capital. Because if you split it and then dump it from the top, what's a good one? So now this is not a great example, but all these people are wiped out, and now you're raising capital from the top with no one there. You're just, anyone who bids, boom, whack it. You know what I mean? And so when you do a split, you open up the ability to actually raise capital. So when I see mergers that don't have a reverse split, I know deep down that it's just the current owners of the shell working with who are still totally there. And they got a buddies company or whatever that they're going to merge into the shell now, and they're all going to work together to, either maybe free the current owner from that position, or a baggy position, or dilute a bunch more shares or whatever. Because if the old owner's really gone and they're really looking to capital and then raise capital, they'll split. So it doesn't really matter what the shell is, because they would just split, cut the AS in half, change the ticker, and be done. But on a lot of these shows, you have old holders with tons of shares who are actually in control of what happens. And so a lot of the that's why a lot of the reverse mergers are bullshit. And after the huge run and it goes back to zero or whatever, you never hear from them again because it's mission accomplished. You know, they're not actually building a company. You know what I'm saying? Take a look. Is the passion coming through? Chinese, zero communication, horrifying setup. Loaded to the gills with COVID bags. Nothing going on. No price action for 3 years. You know, well, what can I say? I mean, maybe if they announce that they're merging in Christ after he's resurrects. The thing you got to do, though, double check on the SOS. Like with a lot of these setups, like this could be okay. See what Chrome does to me now? It takes forever when I type it right in, but it doesn't matter really. You think he'd come to a Q stock? Yeah, probably. Because he's all about redemption, you know. Inactive in Wyoming. Let's double check it. Inactive. Administratively dissolved. So they've moved somewhere. Yeah, they moved somewhere. So they're somewhere else now. So you'd have to find where they went. They're usually only in Nevada or Wyoming. North Carolina. Oh. Oh boy. Then you have to do a business entity search. We'll do that. There it is there. Sometimes when I search for things that, you know, the Silverton. All right. There it is there. Same officers, so no merger, 200 billion. Is it the same officers? Yeah. So there's nothing new there in terms of new officers. Like if there were some new officers there, I'd be like, yo, okay, they got a reverse merger or something, but it's the same guys, same old bag. I might have better, at least in the short term, more success just like digging for coins in the couch, I think.
Bag.
HMLA, the guy's just like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like a cyborg has just like jacked in. Remember, everything was jacked in once? Like, we used to think, like in the 90s for sure, that saying jacked in was some high tech shit. Jacked in multimedia. Same old jokes year after year. I don't have any new ones because my only experiences are this now. Beggy is just had a little when they are done, boy. Yeah, I was worried about that. That was that look on KRBP I was concerned about, where it like recovered that dump, but now it's like stuck there. See it? Right there, right at 2. Yeah. Back on track. Okay. Back on the bag track. Nice bounce, though. I wish I had the guts. I mean, I remember when we saw it, a buddy of mine messaged me about it, and I was like, come on, man, no one buys these D-listers. And they started buying D-listers like crazy. Let's run the screener. I got 20 to do the screener. So last time we did the screener, any other tickers, get them in, man. Get them in. Because I'm about to head out. I don't stream often enough to ever become a Twitch affiliate, I guess. Got to do a couple a week, but the majority of my effort is saved for OTCmethod.com. That's what I do, and that's where I'm at, you know. Like I said, I love the OTC. I love it. And I memorized a lot of it. But it's just cooked, man. Let's be serious here. I mean, they're trying to bounce it back up, but yeah. Oh geez, BMXI. Good God. It's a really, you know what it is, this CYIO, it's a set of tires with no fucking tread left on them. Look at this. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and I keep hearing it, and I'm just like, what's the scoop now? Like, there's and maybe it'll blow me away one day, and it had a great run. But I mean, by today's standards, this isn't a great setup. It is getting close to being maxed out. See, I didn't think of that because I don't have as many more experiences anymore. Maybe if I had an Italian experience, I would have been able to say that. Is that Italian or Italian? I don't know. But I'm going to say more like ciao. Because I haven't gone to Italy. I'm not going to worry about the country, but I'm going to go for the Italian. Italian. Okay, yeah. I've heard that. So we're going to go common stock. I don't want foreign stock or ADR. I just want common stock right now. We're going dub 3. I remember when my broker, you know, they changed their platform and to write 0.003, you had to go 0.003. And I called and waited like an hour on hold. And I said, I can't even type the price of shit on here anymore. What's going on? And she said, well, type it. I said, I typed 0.003. And she's like, no, you have to type 0.003. But she said it like I was an total imbecile for not knowing that. Like anyone does it like this. Who does that? And she was like, you type the 0 first? Oh, and I was like, what? 111 securities, so you change it by volume. First of all, don't speak to the king that way, okay? Don't speak to the king that way.
Call.
I say what I type. So, but now I'm in the habit. I'll say bag to a few of them, but then I don't have time to call them all bags, so then I'll just skip over them. Raker looking okay. IBGR, there's an AS raise there or something. Pretty nasty at this point. Pretty baked at this point too. Had a great run, but they got the Under Armour knockoff. AITX is certainly a bag. LVVV is a bag. MGTI, it was a bag, then it came off the gray and looked good for some reason, and then it became a bag again. Boy, it's held up pretty good. No volume, barely any volume though. They broke that dub 6 again. You know, maybe you got something there. So maybe. Fun is a bag. MJNA bag. NHYF, you know, these custos from Synergy,
Bag.
they just don't seem to get legs, do they? El Bass was a good try, but this guy cannot stop selling. He just can't do it. He had a reverse merger, just unloaded on them. AIAD was a good move at not so good. ATAHQ, you wonder if they're going to bounce this. I really do. Plastic to oil, been an okay move, but very low volume. Good setup for sure. Just not a lot going on. You know, it's just a bit dull. And I just don't know, like, because a lot of these things, like, you'll say, oh, it moved a lot, but like, could I move $2,000 in and out? You know, Sybil is a bag. DUTV, this is a disruptor. The disruptor, he disrupts. Anything he says he disrupts,
zone.
but then he started disrupting everything. You know what I mean? Like, he was disrupting sand, he was disrupting dirt, he was disrupting, like, it was just bonkers. So I'm going to pass on that. I haven't seen this for a long time. They used to really pump that a lot. SFIO is a pass. SFRX is a pass. IDIQ. Yeah, he disrupted soil for sure. Were you still around when he was disrupting? I think you were. He was disrupting, like, he was disrupting, you know what I mean? Like, this guy. What, how to what? The excuse me, no questions about what I say. I dick you. Yeah. It's a crazy queue setup. I don't know. This is a parts ID and car ID, which I think I've used. No, I looked at it, but I felt they were shitty. Like, it's all this aftermarket shite. So this is them. Just fell out of the sky. Fell out of the absolute sky. Do they bounce that? It's entirely possible, for sure. Do they care about whether commons are getting canceled or not? Nope. This is a good setup. I would really keep an eye on this. It's called I Dick You.
Sure.
Yeah. Great setup here, this FCHS. Nothing going on. Some volume the other day. I don't know why. And then someone took a ton or whatever at the end of this mid-December. I mean, you don't know if that's a front load or some tax loss selling, but no one even would have had enough to make that a tax loss sale. So are they gearing up for something here? Because holy shit. Crazy setup. Got to keep an eye on it. Whoa, and I can't believe it's down here. It's a great setup. We had a great trade on about a year ago, now going into grace period. Just a damn shame. What a waste. Seagra is a bag. Torque Lab. Is this the one that had that AS reduction or that? No. Which one was that? Yes, it is. They took a bunch of unrestricted and changed them to restricted. So these were all getting ready to be dumped, and then they restricted them all. Just on Tuesday or Monday. And now all of a sudden the risk is reduced of them unloading on it. Yeah, they bought it the other day, but then no volume since. But I mean, setup wise, it's really not bad. So I think you got to keep an eye on that Torque Lab. This is where the juice of the setups are these days. I'll tell you what. InfraQ, it was probably the worst I've ever seen. You know what I mean? So we'll pass on that. What else we got? ECGI is not a bad setup. Yeah. But we got dumped on this. Remember that? Yeah. I'm going to pass on that. Yeah. We just got unloaded on. Worlds, if they were to announce that they had a merger there, I would absolutely take it. Absolutely take it. So we'll take a look at that. And then none of these have any volume. None of these have any volume at all. So, that's kind of that zone. But there are some really good setups in there. That FCHS is excellent. Wone's going to go. You got to keep an eye on this Torque Lab for sure. So, because that restriction of a bunch of shares is really something that's quite interesting. Outside of that, again, like a lot of these setups, they just have zero volume. And oftentimes the reason they have zero volume is because there's like a problem with the bid and the ask or whatever. There's a lot of stunners out there, but it's tough to say. SGDH is a phenomenal shell. If they announced a merger there, I would 100% take it. 100%. No question about it. RTSL, I think this may go gray. I mean, they're at risk of going gray here. And it's a really good setup, but at this point, I mean, they could go gray and then you're pretty much cooked. And then you'd be on unsolicited quotes, which sucks. So I'd pass on that. Suggestion box, not been great. SVSN really not been great. Searchlight Minerals, not really that good. Not a lot going on. Not a great setup. I'm going to pass on that. Toka Life, this is the climbing wall bag. I don't love this. Spready too. I'm going to pass on it. That's pretty much what I got, guys. If there's anything else on your mind, I got 5 minutes. Now's about the time, and then that's it, man. We are out of here. We're going to go. Huh? You know what I mean? No, I got 5. Anything that's on your mind, hit me. There we go. That's it. I'm still trying to find the way here. There's a few good setups, and it's a lot better. Appreciate you. It's a lot better than it was. And like a year and a half ago, way better. But we're still not totally there. You know what I mean? I still don't feel like we're totally there. I'm hoping that we'll be there soon. But, you know, if it isn't, then it is what it is. You know what I mean? Thank you. I'm hearing February. What year is it? What year is it, though? Yeah, one of these years. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
One of these years. One of these years, man. One of these years, it's going to be good. Tell you what. Well, if that's it, if that's all you got, then I'm going to pack it out. GE.
Heat Zone.
Hag W. Thank you.